it's great to be here. Thanks to the teams at Resource Rising Stars and also our Mining News. How are we going here? That'll get us there. Yeah, it's good timing for us to give an update. It's been a while. Obviously, it's fantastic to be up here live and be able to talk about where we're at. It's sort of interesting going back through the past 6 months of setting up in the Pilbara where we're really focused and really focusing on gold exploration up there. And I think if you follow the De Grey story, you'll know why. It's an incredible part of the world. Tier 1, lots of fantastic infrastructure, which, you know, when you look at finding and discovering, you want to look forward further than that, and you want to find it in a good part of the world so you can take advantage of that. So I'll go through where we're at today, and obviously we're in the middle of a large drill campaign, so the news flow's just started. I'll go through that sort of data and a little bit on, you know, where we see the exploration through the rest of this year and through into next year. At Mount York's the flagship. We got 870,000 ounces there. We put that together over the last 3 or 4 years. We're in the middle of 20,000 metres of drilling there. Part of that is sort of expansion. We've got an exploration target about that 1.1, 1.2 million ounces where we're heading, but also infill drilling, and I'll sort of go through that. A lot of geochemistry. We've had a whole team of guys covering a lot of the Pilbara, and it's not easy work. People sort of see geochem maps and little dots. They do forget that guys have got to get out and about and collect those samples and then get them in. We're working really closely with CSIRO on their ultrafine techniques, which is utilising ultrafine sampling techniques to look at areas undercover. On the back of that work we did over the last few years, we did 5,000 metres of air core at Kangan, which is only 20 k's from Hemi. And also I'll talk about some of our projects in the Goldfields at Roe Hills. So you've got there in the middle, you've got the Hemi discovery, 6.8 million ounces. Put it in perspective, since gold was found in the Pilbara in the 1800s, there's only been 8 million ounces. So that's an amazing discovery in 18 months. And it shows a few things. You know, we had discussions early on about the Pilbara gold. I was involved with Taipan and the Paulson's discovery. You know, that's a high grade, fantastic discovery, but there were no real gold mines in this part of the world. And that's difficult if you're doing exploration because people say, well, you've got to start and do it yourself. Well, you've got De Grey who's put out their scoping study recently with fantastic numbers. It's 60 k's from Port Hedland, and you can see our land position is absolutely well set to go and have a crack at finding what is a new style of gold mineralisation. We've also got the Goldfields, which we like. It's only 100 k's from Cal. We're south of Breaker. We're around Silver Lake. Once again, good infrastructure. There's haul roads, there's mining all along that tenure. So I'll talk about that right at the end. We really did set out at the start of the year to have a good crack at getting drilling into the ground, and it was really on the back of funding. Last year we were pretty well funded, but we ended up doing a lot of geochem and about 5,000 metres of RC. This year we've done 3,000 metres at Roe Hills. We're about 12, 14,000 into 20 at Mount York, and we've done 5,000 at Kangan. So you can see there's a big step up in activity with drilling. The Mount York deposit was about 100,000 ounces when we first started. We've grown that to 870,000. It effectively is just 3 or 4 different areas, but the main pit is the Mount York Main Hill, Breccia Hill, Gossan Hill. This is 3 kilometres long. Part of the 20,000 metres is starting to bring this up from the inferred into indicated, and also the initiation of mining studies here. We recently put out our first batch of 10 holes from Mount York, and we had the best intersection in the whole area. There's over 1,000 holes here over 30 years, 32 metres at 3.7, and it was also down plunge of pretty good grade, but it was in an area where we call the gap, where when you did sort of mining studies, you looked at it, there was a bit of a gap between 2 pits. So it's actually the great place to get a high grade zone. So excellent widths and fantastic grade. I think one of the interesting things is, as you've got Hemi there, you can see the intrusions. Just to talk a little bit about the geology, it's an intrusive related gold deposit, which means it's quite unusual with respect to a lot of the other mineralisation. When I talk about Mount York, it's more of a banded iron formation, very similar to greenstone belt geology. The Pilbara and the Yilgarn are essentially that same Archean, whereas these things are different. They're a bit younger. They sit along craton margins, and if you look at that red intrusion there, these are what's called synukitoid intrusions, and they're sitting around the edge of those. And you can see from that how Skywell fits in for us. We've done a lot of regional geochem. We're still working through getting heritage clearance out there to be able to go and do drilling, but that really is a priority area for us for this Hemi style. You can also see that Kangan is very close. So I'll start to go through a little bit of the regional exploration. So we've got this focus on building the resources, but we're very, very focused on doing regional exploration. It takes time, and we've done a lot of work this year, which will really set us up for a lot of drilling in the more regional areas next year. Kangan was probably one of the first areas we did some this ultrafine soils, and you can see on the right-hand side there, it's very flat, it's very sandy, there's really no outcrop. And we got a low tenor gold in soil anomaly through the ultrafines. We've done 5,000 metres, that's just the first pass, really broad spacing, you know, like lines 400 metres apart, holes 1 to 200 metres apart. You can see from the profile there from the air core drilling, we'll get the results out back from this. That's just a zoom in of that area. We'll get these results out over the next few weeks, but we're already sort of encouraged from what we've seen to go and get some more heritage surveys and do some more infill drilling. So we're planning more drilling there as we speak. One of the other interesting things we hit, given we're not far from Pilbara, which is 100 million plus lithium deposit, Wodina, which is 100 million tonne plus lithium deposit, we hit a lot of pegmatite. And we're right in that margin of these sort of 2.7 billion year old granites and greenstone belts. So we really did look at this area again from a lithium pegmatite point of view. And we've looked at the geochem, and there's areas south of here with LCT, lithium, cesium, tantalum signatures. So we do see Kangan as something where we can focus on lithium in the future as well. Skywell, we've already had fantastic rock chip results and geochem. I mentioned that one earlier. You can see that very large intermediate intrusion. These things are pretty integral in the formation of these intrusive related gold deposits. There's a lot of work to be done here. When we're out there, there's no other work being done. So we're the first group to ever do exploration out in these areas. So it's not like you're coming back and you've got 20 or 30 years of data. We're it. So these sorts of things all take a bit of time, but this one's progressing nicely. We'd like it to be moving a bit faster than it is, but we are pretty excited about this area and we're very focused on it. You can see from the work that we did do, we've flown and got a lot more detailed magnetics. We've got target areas from the geochem and magnetics, and this is going to be a priority air core drilling place. It might not tick in this year, but it'll be absolutely early next year when we can get back up into the Pilbara. We did some drilling last year, and I found this Fuego Prospect. I was pretty excited about that last year, and I still am. It's just a big new area, brand new. There's a lot of gold in stream seds. We did get broad, low-grade intersections, 30 metres at 0.2, 0.3, up to a metre at 1 gram. And these are on lines that are 200 and 400 metres apart. It was RC drilling, but we did treat it more like geochem because it was first pass drilling. So once again, we've got this as a really large target that we still haven't sort of left behind. We just keep generating lots of targets. So it's very hard to prioritise at the moment because we're getting a lot of good results in a lot of areas. And I mentioned earlier the lithium side of things, and lithium's had its sort of ups and downs over the last few years, but it's definitely on an upswing, and we're neighbours with Pilbara Minerals, literally, utilising the same sort of rigs and access roads and within 5K. So we've followed that story over the last few years, and we see ourselves very much as being in prime lithium exploration company. And when it comes down to it, we're exploration people. So when we're out there, we will have a look at anything that's there. We're focused on gold, but we focus on what can add value to shareholders, and we think the lithium side of things is definitely a story that has got a lot more to it. And then we've got Roe Hills in Kalgoorlie. 40 k's of greenstone belt, really good initial results at an area called Caliburn. More geochemistry out there. We've got 800 metre long gold targets. And this is just an easy area to work. We do like working around Kalgoorlie, 100 k's from town. Access to rigs and getting work done here is easier, and it's sort of area that's a lot easier than the Pilbara through summer. The Pilbara can be a bit warm and a bit cyclonic, and it's not really the place to be for some of the prospects that we've got up there. So this is the thing that sort of keeps our news flow going over summer. Really nice, simple sort of interpretations there, good widths, good grades, and we're really looking for smaller, shallow oxide mineralisation. There's plant in the area, there's infrastructure with haul roads. So this is the sort of thing, if we could get something, we could get something up and going very quickly. So we do sort of look at this as something more that we can take advantage of short term. So look, that's sort of KAIROS. We really are focused on the Pilbara. We've been up there 4 years, but we've got a lot of technical expertise that have been up there for a long time now. We raised 13.5 through 2020. At June 30, we had 8.3. We put out our September number in a couple of weeks. Fantastic resource. 873,000 is just the start. We've found that over 3 or 4 years, and we really didn't do any drilling out there last year. This year's been a change of focus for us to get back and stuck into that. And the main reason is to get the scoping studies. And that is driven a lot by De Grey. You know, they're just down the road. They've got scoping studies out now saying they're going to have a 10-year mine life, 400,000 ounces per annum. And that's a game changer because that's right in the central part of the Pilbara. And that's why 20,000 metres of infill extensional work is really important for us at Mount York, and also the other prospects in that area. And we've really got Kangan, which has got lithium potential, Skywell, intrusive related gold potential. We've collected an awful lot of soil sampling. That's 4,000, it's probably 5,000 or 6,000 now, which is an incredible amount of work and effort. Gold price is good. I know the gold stocks have sort of drifted a lot lately. We're all shareholders. But the gold price is good. You know, if you're a producer, you're doing very well. Our market cap's 51 million, and if people would like to talk more about where we're at, we've got the booth here, so come and see us. Cheers.